If you want to start on your content creation journey, you need to watch this video because I've got Jess here who's a content creator. How long have you been a content creator for?
I'd say since 2018. I started off on Instagram. It was during a time where a big niche was threads. Like what people do on TikTok now, you pick a topic, so it might be like tips on how to style yourself. And you would post the thread on Twitter and then you'd take screenshots and then you'd upload it to Instagram. So that's where I started gaining followers first for my Instagram pages. I kind of got in really early, so I was one of the big accounts out of the few that like really grew their audience. I think I got to like 150,000 followers on one page, which was my main one, and then I had also started another page separate as like a backup account, and I grew that to around 25,000, and on that page I was just posting relatable quotes. So I think I've always been in the niche of being relatable to a particularly young audience. So at the time I was a teenager, so I was kind of catering my stuff towards people in high school, and then as I've grown up I've kind of changed my niche into more adulthood things, so like university, being like a working person, going into a future career.
When did you move to TikTok?
I moved to TikTok in 2020, so peak COVID when Minecraft channels were getting big. So that was obviously, my channels follow my interests. So I was at home, me and my sisters were watching Minecraft YouTubers. So I was
streaming.
Yeah, so we were watching a lot of streamers as well. And I started a TikTok page and it was just posting like Minecraft content. It wasn't even about me. That's where I got the majority of my followers from. I think I got like 15,000 followers from posting about Minecraft content, and that was over 2 years, so 2020 to 2021.
Yeah,
and
because
then,
you were niching it down to
yeah,
Minecraft.
Yeah,
I did
exactly.
the same. I started a TikTok channel on art, and I grew it to 10,000 followers within a month. But that was 2019. That was when it was easy to grow on TikTok.
Yeah, because people weren't using it as much.
Yeah. So have you got the same TikTok channel that you started on with Minecraft? Did you lose a lot of followers when you swapped niches?
I feel like on TikTok people don't really unfollow, so I've probably been losing followers, but very slowly. You don't really notice it as much as you do on Instagram. So I feel like Instagram people are more active with their unfollowing versus on TikTok. I think people kind of adapt to niches a little better. So they won't unfollow you, but they might not be engaging with you. So that's why a lot of people start new TikTok pages, which is what I've also done, because you'll have a lot of followers that won't be active on your page, and you'll have a high following, but you won't have the engagement to show for it.
Yeah, I have about 4 TikTok pages. TikTok works on niches more than Instagram does, doesn't it? Yeah. Generally, how many followers have you got on your platforms?
On Instagram, I think I have around 110,000 followers. I've made so many Instagram pages, and every page that I've made, I've grown to at least 10,000 followers. Yes.
What's the secret?
I feel like it's really just niching down to one particular thing, posting consistently and engaging with the audience. So when I was growing my pages really fast, I was posting at least 3 times a day. I was also really active on stories, so I would post around 30 stories a day, and it's like polls or like questions, and then I would reveal the answers to people. So you kind of build a community that wants to engage with you. And I was also really active on my DMs. A good chunk of my day was just talking to people online.
I think people really appreciate that. It's not post and ghost. You just need to really be active.
Exactly.
And respond and engage with your followers.
And
because you're like an online friend to them.
And that's what people would say to me, because with the threads, it's a lot of like advice things as well. So it was kind of like an outlet for people. They would come to my account and then come to me as well if they needed to vent, and they stayed following because of how active and how engaging I was with them. And I feel like nowadays you don't really get that much on Instagram. It's very much like a post and ghost type situation.
I feel like Instagram at the moment is a little bit superficial. Everyone's posting about how wonderful their life is. With TikTok, I feel like it's a little bit raw and honest. My TikTok account, I tend to talk about sort of problems and just about real life things, and then with Instagram I just do photos. But I feel like that's not working. You probably need to use Instagram a little bit different these days too, and make it a little bit more personal, don't you?
To be honest, I kind of haven't figured out how to do that with my personal account. But I have noticed that accounts that get bigger, ones that are giving advice. Like, at the end of the day, you go to social media because you're looking for tips on how to do certain things. So that's where your niche of like interior design and house render is really good. So I feel like the accounts that are growing are the ones that are giving to their audience. So if you're just posting a picture of yourself, you're not really adding any value to it.
I started off house hunting because that's what my life was. I was house hunting, and people really enjoyed looking through houses. And then when I bought a house, I wasn't house hunting anymore, so I needed something else to produce content about. So I started the renovations. But obviously, you know, there's only so many walls to paint, and the budget can extend to a certain amount, and then you kind of stop the renovations. And I'm thinking, what other content can I find? For a personal account, it's kind of really hard to niche down.
Exactly.
Because your life is changing. How do you deal with that?
I feel like at the moment I'm not really dealing with that. I'm still trying to figure that one out, and I think the best thing you can do is just put yourself out there, and it's very personal. I know that people love FaceTime vibe videos, so when you're talking about your struggles, like what you're planning to do, if you build that community, then it'll be easier for you to kind of explore different niches because people are just interested in your lives. So at the moment for me, I'm trying to figure out how to get people interested in just me, because I'm like you, I have a lot of different interests, and obviously I'm about to graduate from uni, so I'm going through a lot of big changes. I've moved out of home.
Moving out of home in your early 20s is a big topic to talk about.
It is.
Get a bit more personal with that. Living with somebody, all of their idiosyncrasies come up, and just working through that, I think that's really interesting.
There's the other issue of if you're posting about yourself, how much do you want to involve other people? So
you want their consent.
And I haven't really had the discussion with my partner of how much he's okay with me talking about our lives. So I know he's okay with me posting like our budget videos, food haul. True. I made a video about like how we budget things and how much we're spending on things, which he's okay with at this point. But I don't know how much I can talk about our like relationship and any like, because I know that he's very private with, if you're having a struggle in a relationship, you just keep it to yourself and like talk to obviously the other person involved, but like not getting in like outsiders' opinions, because then that's where relationships start going south. So again, with content creation, there's like how you respect other people's privacy, because at the end of the day, you're not just infringing your own, it's everyone around you. So even when I'm recording in public, I'm trying really hard not to get other people in the clip and like just keep it me and my friends or block out everyone else.
It's a real thing at the moment, isn't it, for your generation, the whole consent thing.
Exactly, and it's getting bigger and bigger every day, and you don't want to like post something that'll blow up and then someone sees it and it's like, oh, I was in that video and I didn't want that video to be taken. And then obviously there's a scandal.
Let's talk about when you started monetizing your social media.
My first experience monetizing social media was through Instagram. So when I had my thread page, I was posting like ads that accounts would come up to me and say, hey, can you post this to promote this product? And now that I'm in content creation in 2025, I realize how much I was undercharging. I was making $40 USD a post, which is around like $60 AUD at the time. Posts were getting at least 10,000 views, 2,000 likes. So the engagement was like considerably high. If I was getting that engagement nowadays, you'd probably charge around $1,600. $600
as a start.
And especially because I had such a dedicated audience, that kind of increases how much you can charge as well. So that was my first experience like dealing with brands and posting at certain times.
But it got you in.
It did.
It got you in the door. It got you experience. You got to build up the connection. Networking is really good as well.
I broke my leg at the end of 23. So that's when I started exploring UGC, which is user generated content. So it's basically content creation without the big influencer account, and a lot of it's just focusing on how you film things, how you speak, the quality of your videos. My main struggle is just like filming in the right spot. So I was doing a lot of gifted things to build up a portfolio and get experience, so I wasn't getting paid for it.
Sometimes when you do gifted things and the brand likes your work, that could lead on to paid
partnerships
later on.
Yeah, a lot of the businesses that I was working with were small businesses, and you kind of have to understand that if they're a small business, they might not have the budget. So again, that's up to you whether you want to work with them or not.
Yeah.
I was happy to, because I was obviously getting more experience out of it.
And you enjoy it.
And when I got a bit more experience, and then I realized that I could kind of use the followers that I had on my page to monetize a bit more, I was trying to post more things in a particular niche to my page that had a lot of followers on TikTok. I posted a video about perfumes, and then that video gained a lot of traction, and I started getting perfume brands reaching out to me, and some of them were offering money. So I set like my base amounts, the lowest that I was willing to work for a video, and that's kind of where I started making money. And then I found that if I was making videos not related to UGC and they were blowing up, then brands in that niche would kind of reach out to me.
Yeah. Tell me what you've been able to get for your place.
Okay. We got our dining table set for free. I think I've done like 2 or 3 videos for them.
Your bed?
Oh yes, our mattress. So that was gifted as well, and then our bed frame in the spare room was also gifted. That one was going to be paid. Initially, it was just meant to be the mattress, and they were going to pay me to make a video with the mattress. And I recognized the brand was a bit bigger, so I said, I'm happy to do this as a gifted collab in the hopes of like a long-term partnership. And they agreed to that, and then added some bedding and the bed frame as well. My selling point when I was reaching out to brands was saying I was starting out a moving out series, and that series TikTok is getting really, really popular. Great investment for their brand, because it's something that I can continuously post on. That's why I'm trying to film more so that brands will see and will be more willing to reach out.
And it's something that you're already doing. And you're enjoying. So it's easy. It's not like you have to go out of your way to produce these videos, because it's nice just to whip out your camera and
be able to
just
film.
do some B-rolls and talk over it. So it's easier to create content where it ties in with your life and your passion and your interests.
100%. And that's what I'm planning, because another niche I have is uni, because I'm studying at the moment. And I know for a fact that if I were to post any video related to my degree, that it would get at least 10,000 views.
Really?
I don't know why I don't try explore this anymore, because I don't really want my niche to be all about uni. There's only so much you can talk about.
So is it uni, or is it teaching in general?
I've spoken about my university, not included their names, and people kind of figured out which uni it was, because they've had the same experiences, and talking about teaching as well. So if I were to post about either of the two, I know that I can get a lot of engagement from it. Which is maybe
another account.
Make a third account where I can kind of link it to my teaching career, because that's what I'm going to be doing next year. And that means I'll already have like a base audience that's interested in me teaching. Like even as a teacher, if you're posting content, you'll get pre-service teachers asking you for tips on how you did your uni. And it's not like you post one video and then you can't talk about that particular thing anymore.
But how do you monetize that though?
I think monetization will probably be more related to like teacher lanyards, clothing, stationery, maybe even like a desk, so like an office space, and say, oh, this is what I use for teaching. Like you can probably get a bit out of it, but more it's just trying to get
getting the community, building up the community.
Exactly. And then you can kind of do whatever you want.
Of course, they say don't sell the commodity, build your community first.
Yes, exactly. So I'm trying to figure out what will get people interested, so that I can then monetize through other like niches. Like I've got different things that I'm interested in, so that's why I want people interested in me, so that I can share my interests and not niche down to one particular thing.
But you are the niche.
Yes.
Tell me some things that you think doesn't work when you come across other creators' account.
I think people that just post about products probably don't work. I mean, unless you're like a food review account. If you're someone that's constantly doing unboxing hauls, like it's not really relatable to your audience.
Do you think unboxing is a bit yesterday? Like it used to be such a big thing. Now, when I see an unbox, I just don't want to watch it anymore.
Yeah, I think if you're doing an ASMR unbox, I still watch those because I love like the sounds, but I think if it's just like, if there's no
ASMR,
it's like auditory stimulus, so it's like
stuff like this.
Like so when they tap on the boxes, that
and then when they're like closing the boxes and
ripping the packaging.
Do they add those sounds on later?
I don't think so. They must have a microphone close to it so that it's crisp audio.
Organizing your pantry or something. I do love Yeah, I love that. Like you're closing the boxes, opening up, pouring it into the container.
The fast clips. Yeah. Your brain is just like, you can only focus for so long.
Yeah.
So you like, the fast clips really just suck me in and then I can't stop watching.
Yeah.
People who film long unboxings where there's no ASMR, when it's all uncut, that's when it gets a bit boring.
Yes.
Whereas if you're doing unboxing with certain angles and certain sounds, like visual hooks.
Yeah, exactly. It stimulates all of our senses, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I don't think anything is dead. I think it's just how you do it. Quality of your videos, which is kind of hard on TikTok, because I found even if you are filming with a good camera or like your back camera lens on your iPhone and you've got the good audio, I feel like TikTok suppresses videos if they're not getting enough views.
Yeah.
I've noticed that my videos will upload with really crisp quality.
Yeah.
And on my account, they'll look normal. And then when I go to look on my boyfriend's phone, video is like 1 pixel, really blurry. And I feel like all the big accounts that have really good video quality isn't because they're doing anything different to you. I feel like it's just because they've got like the views for it. And I've read that some people think TikTok suppresses these videos because they don't want like videos that aren't doing well to take up much space on their cloud or whatever. So
many TikTok theories.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's true, but it makes sense that they're pushing videos that are getting more and more traction, and that's what they're dedicating most of their like cloud storage space to. Because obviously I found that like controversial things work the best.
Negativity spreads much faster than positivity. You get people fighting against each other in your conversations, in your comments. That's when it starts blowing up
and pushing to new audiences. Like one of the videos I posted on my new TikTok page, I knew it was gonna happen because it happened the first time I did it on my other account. I posted a video of my pre-service teacher outfit of the day, and I was in like these jeans, and I had an off-the-shoulder singlet. Obviously I didn't go to primary school with my shoulder out because I know like it's not appropriate. So I went with the trench coat and this scarf to cover like any bit of skin that might have been exposed. But I posted without the trench and the scarf because I knew people were going to start saying that it was unprofessional, that you can't be wearing this around kids. It doesn't look good. Because that's what happened the first time when I posted a similar outfit on my other page, and it did. It happened. It's got 40,000 views. People are still commenting a month and a half later saying this is unprofessional. You can't go around dressed like this. And a part of me gets a bit offended because I'm like, well, it is professional because the school was okay with it. Like, I wasn't exposed. And the other half of me is like, keep commenting.
Keep going. You're working on my algorithm. All the trolls are helping us grow. Like when I was doing my bathroom renovation, I made sure I posted my shonky plastering wall work because I think people love correcting you when you're wrong. He said this is big group chat. If you want to get help on, like, say, a coding question, for example, this girl's worked out that instead of going on the group chat and asking somebody for help, she goes on the group chat and she posts a code that is wrong, and then she gets so much engagement. All these people come on to correct her. She posts the same thing asking for help. She gets crickets. She posts a wrong code and she gets hundreds of people coming on there correcting her, telling her how to do it right. Because
people are know-it-alls. And I do that too. So I don't know why our brains are wired to do that. I'm really interested.
Maybe I should interview a psychiatrist.
I feel like psychology would work really well with TikTok. Like I feel like if you're a psychologist, you're ahead of the game. Because when people are really monotonous, is that the word?
When people speak with pauses, like for example, you can do it like this. Like,
get to the point.
Why don't you just record it and just speed it up? For example, you can do it like this.
I've noticed you've done that sometimes. I was like, there's no way Vic can speak that fast.
Oh no, I speed it up. I just speed up the audio because I'm getting bored of listening to myself.
But honestly, like, it works because I'll sit through that sped up voice audio because I feel like it just, certain things tickle certain parts of my brain. And like, one of them is when you talk really, really fast with the voiceover, I'm like, well, this sounds funny. And I'll just listen through it because what I'm trying to do with my voiceovers is I film bits at a time and then have them overlapping. Is I love when I can hear the quick transitions to the next audio, to the next clip.
Yep.
So I'm trying to replicate what I like and what keeps me watching, because I know I'm like prime example of like a TikTok user, because I skip through if it's like not engaging in the first 5 seconds, if it's not what can I get out of this video.
Or about your viewer, not about yourself.
The recent one that I did was like, how much do you think it costs to live out of home? And I broke down our expenses. Another one I did was tips on how to go into your final placement as a teacher. It had like 11,000 views, and it's a 10-minute video. If you can get a really good hook that people are like, oh, this is catered towards me, I need to watch this video. It doesn't matter how long your video is, it'll take off. It has something that people can find value in.
Yeah, I think TikTok's changing from a very quick
5-30 second clip,
exactly, to competing with something like YouTube. Lots of people go on TikTok to search on what they need.
I think captions you have to use to your advantage. I think particularly on Instagram, this works for real. If you've got your visual hook and your text in the first 2 seconds of your actual video, and then you've got like a big chunk of text in the caption, people will be watching the video while they're reading your caption.
Yes, or watching your video on the train, on the way home, and they haven't got headphones on. It's good to just read captions.
Yeah, so I try to do captions on all my videos.
But that adds to the SEO, I think, of the video. It makes it searchable.
Do you think if you added captions on CapCut versus TikTok, then it changes?
I think so. Maybe you have to then put the captions again on TikTok and move it over.
Off the screen.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, this is just a theory.
Yeah.
The other theory is that TikTok's algorithm picks up what you're saying, generates auto captions anyway.
Yeah.
Because people can have an option of turning on the subtitles or not, like you would in a movie.
Yeah.
I think it just automatically picks up on your topic, what you're talking about, and categorizes it.
I love watching videos that have captions because it gives me something to focus on if I'm not really interested in the video.
I started on YouTube, and I think TikTok is starting to move towards YouTube things. Like, for example, it's always really important on YouTube to create a thumbnail, because people search YouTube for information and they need to see the thumbnail to see what your video is about. So it's always good to have your face actually in the thumbnail, plus text to say what your video is about. It becomes a little library. People are not doing this enough on TikTok. When I started on TikTok, I'm a Gen X, and I was like one of the very, very few
ones that engage the most.
Get to an age where you don't care what anyone else thinks. Like, you can comment on anything. Yeah.
And they're also the ones sharing your TikToks as links too. Like, where I would share a video through the TikTok like direct messages.
Yes.
My mum would share the TikTok with me through a link on messages on a separate app. You get more shares on your video, it'll boost the engagement, and TikTok will push it out to more people. So that's probably also something else to consider. That
well, maybe you should do a video on how your mum feels about you moving out.
I could, honestly. That's a good idea.
And then that would get the audiences of parents, because it's a transition. It's quite hard using, your kids. You could interview your mum.
I could. I'm sure she'd love that.
Why don't you do content creation full time? Why are you teaching?
I feel like it's not stable enough for me. That's why it's more a side gig. I'm trying to post as consistently as I can, but again, I'm in my 4th year of uni, so something's got to give.
Yes. Well, would you not quit Audi when you can do content creation?
You've seen Natalie Sinead or something like that. She started off doing UGC, and then she kind of grew her TikTok platform because it was getting a bit more personal. And then her TikTok page got deleted by TikTok. And she went from having this really, really big high income stream and her income just being completely cut. She's had to start from scratch. So for me, I need a bit more stability. Obviously, the money isn't anywhere near as much as I could be making if I was consistent on TikTok.
That's why you have lots of channels. Something similar happened with our TikTok account. So I started 2 other sub accounts, and they're just a little bit different. Like, the main account obviously showing the brand, the other account showing the BTS. The main account has got 400,000 followers. The second account has got 20,000 followers, and the third account had 8,000 followers. So if you lose the big account, you still got the medium size and the small size account. You're not just putting all your eggs in one basket. Building up your Instagram account. If you do lose TikTok or vice versa, you can migrate those audience over.
I feel like at the point I'm at now, I'm growing slowly.
Got the experience. You're young, good looking. there are so many companies out there that are looking for in-house social media. Companies like real estate companies, agencies look for account managers, and it's good money.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of don't want to kill it for myself, because I feel like if I were to go into a job in content creation for another brand, then I would kind of lose all patience for my own. So it's kind of like I have to pick what I want to do more. And at the moment, I see social media as like a side gig for me. If I get really lucky, then obviously like that's great. The more I'm filming my life, the more I'm realizing not as easy as people paint it out to be, and being very public as well. So it's more how much of myself am I willing to give. And I like the fact that I've got other options. I don't need to be so invested in it. And I like that it's kind of like a side hustle type of thing. And I hate editing the most. I've got like a whole camera roll full of unedited video. I hate editing so much. I love
editing.
I noticed that you're really good at getting all the content and then picking what you want to do with it. Whereas with me, I need to be really intentional with my filming, because I know I'm not going to do what you've done and sit through like a whole bunch of footage and edit it all. So like I'm trying to get better at filming short clips so that it takes editing time away from me.
Fair enough.
When I see that I've got like 40 minutes worth of footage, I close the video and I'm like, oh, that's tomorrow's issue.
Have you got any advice for people who want to get into content creation?
I think that you need to figure out what your interests are. It can be multiple. Ideally, you niche down, but if you can't, like, pick some things that you're interested in that you can sustain over like a period of time on an account, and just post. Just try and post as much as you can. Posting TikToks is like getting a lottery ticket, because you'll post and then you don't know which video is going to blow up.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah, exactly. So you might post a series, like 30 TikToks over 30 days. I can guarantee at least one of them will blow up.
Do you think content creation is the future?
I think so. Like brands are relying more on like UGC creators.
Or EGC creators.
What's EGC?
Employer-generated content. So instead of user-generated content, they have the employees working for them. Like say people working in the warehouse or whatever. People, making the content. Yeah.
Like try and get your foot in the door as soon as you can, because I think it's like a very saturated business, but that doesn't mean that you can't start.
There's a space for everyone.
Yeah.
When I grew up, we were relying on magazines and TV ads. Costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time. People are now just more interested in that natural, unpolished content or organic stuff, because people don't want to be sold to all the time.
No.
Like, you're even better off for brands if you were doing like a Get Ready With Me and you had the product as a product placement rather than say
the whole video is about this one product. Just get into it and
try it out.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you don't have to
keep doing it. You're not forced into anything. It's no lock-in contract. Just do it based on your interests.
What about the judgment of your friends and your peers?
You are your biggest critic, and I think a lot of the stigma around people judging you is more just an internal fear rather than something that like people actually feel. For me in particular, I'm really nervous about people at uni seeing my TikToks and like judging me on it. But then one of my friends contacted me and was like, oh yeah, I was talking to these girls and they were like, oh, we watched Jess's videos, like we love them so much. So I feel like you're your biggest hater, and if there are people that hate on you for what you're doing, at the end of the day, you're trying something new and it'll get you places. Like you don't really have much to lose.
Well, think of 10 years time, 10 years down the track, where content creation is where all the jobs are. And when I first started in 2018, all my friends were just thinking that I'm weird, I get secondhand embarrassment. What is she doing? They just didn't see where it's going. And then now, all of my friends who've got businesses are making videos. I've been telling them for years, you've got to get in front of the camera. People buy from who they know, like, and trust, and they're like, no, we don't want to do that. You don't want to get in front of a camera.
You won't be able to scale your business if you don't have a personal brand. And if your friends are hating on you, then they're not real friends.
Yes, let's leave it at that.